Welcome again to the GreenFleet Decarbonisation Hub prelim activity, and I'm really pleased to be joined by Michelle Gardner of Logistics UK. Michelle is going to be helping me on day one, actually host some of the sessions. But Logistics UK is one of the key trade bodies in this space. So, Michelle, perhaps you could introduce yourself and a little bit about Logistics UK. Explain what your role is within the whole logistics arena and at the CV show itself.
Brilliant. Thanks, Andy. So I'm Michelle Gardner. I'm Deputy Director of Policy at Logistics UK, and Logistics UK is one of the biggest trade bodies in the UK, and we represent all of logistics. So not just road operators, but also across water, air and rail. And we also have buyers of logistics services in our membership. So the whole ecosystem of logistics. So we are very much here to represent our members to policymakers and ensure our members have all the right information as they go about their daily operating lives.
Absolutely. I think that's really important. And I'm guessing that in that logistics industry, this theme of decarbonisation is writ large in terms of the focus across all of those aspects, whether it's the planes, the trains, automobiles, trucks, or indeed the facilities and the sort of cold chain, for example. Is that what you're seeing from your members?
Absolutely. I don't think I get through a meeting nowadays without decarbonisation coming up in some shape or form. And it just shows the importance of the topic to our members. There's a real appetite for members to be lowering their emissions across their whole operations. But it doesn't come without its challenges, and that's what Logistics UK is trying to do. We're trying to make sure that we're giving our members helpful information as they're making decisions on their journey to net zero, but also shaping and helping form policy decisions that impact our members, which are really important in helping them make the right investment decisions on this journey.
Absolutely, and I think that's certainly what the GreenFleet Decarbonisation Hub is all about here at the CV show. We're really trying to understand what steps, what the next step is on that journey of decarbonisation for any operator within this space. Now, clearly, electric vehicles get a lot of the headlines and a lot of the focus, but they're not the only solution. What are you seeing that is coming up, and what are the ideas that are coming out from your members for decarbonisation along that journey?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There is naturally a huge focus on battery electric vehicles and the role they will play in that journey. But what we're hearing a lot from members at the moment on the road side is that they want to use all the tools in the toolbox, and low carbon fuels are one of the things they're really interested in utilising. So we have things like biomethane or drop-in fuels like HVO, and our members are really interested in these because they can transition, and particularly the drop-in fuels, utilise them in the vehicles they already have in their fleets. And we're a long way off being able to transition to all vehicles being zero tailpipe emission. So they're keen to use these fuels now and reduce emissions immediately. But that's also the case across logistics. So we know that sustainable aviation fuel is going to be really important as that solution for decarbonisation in air. And also shipping is looking at what fuels are needed to move away from shipping fuels. So, really interesting debates at the moment about the right technologies and the right solutions. But we really need to be using everything at our disposal because it's not a black and white picture.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And you make a really good point that it's not just about the truck on its own on the road anymore. It's very much about the whole supply chain up and down in terms of using the same energy, ideally, or the right energy within each of those stages and things. Where are the challenges in sort of implementing some of these low carbon fuels that you're seeing at the moment?
So at the moment, cost can be a factor. So moving to a different fuel can come at a cost premium. And for our members that operate on very small margins, of course, they have to consider that in their purchasing decisions. If you're talking about something like biomethane, then of course you need a different type of truck. So that is also a big consideration in terms of investment. But also, I think our members are concerned at the moment that these fuels don't have the support of government, and so that makes them nervous. What we would like to see is a stronger message from government that these fuels should be utilised in transport until we're at that tipping point where we know we have the solutions for all vehicle types. So I think, that would be our clear ask of government, help work with us, help us use all the things to help us reduce emissions now. And, particularly for the really heavy HGVs, so, over 40 tonnes, that's where members are particularly concerned. We have members that use mainly 44-tonne trucks, and there aren't the solutions there at the zero tailpipe emission end. So they really want to be thinking about what solutions they can implement when there aren't the technology solutions available.
Yeah, I fully understand, and I know we're in a backdrop, and we've got to focus on fuels on day 2. Certainly with Renewable Transport Fuels Association and my previous employer, Zemo Partnership, who've certainly been focusing on it, and I know working with Logistics UK on the policy implementation. But recently we've had a new strategy for maritime that's come out in the last few days, and obviously a focus on sustainable aviation fuel. So fuels are quite large in some of those sectors. Absolutely. But like you say, it's been overlooked a little bit on the road sector at the moment with all of the noise and headlines about electric vehicles that we're seeing. So hopefully we'll see that move forward a little bit.
Absolutely. And I know Zemo did some really interesting work a few years ago about how different fuel types could be used. And of course, biodiesel, different blends are something we shouldn't overlook either, because again, it's all about lowering emissions wherever we can. So any type of reduction should be welcome.
Absolutely. I guess one of the things that we haven't touched on as much is things like reducing the amount of fuel you use in the first place, so that when you come to make that change, it's not as big a pill a bit to swallow, because you're not needing as much energy. So I mean, that's a key area of decarbonisation, is energy reduction, whatever energy you're using. Is that a focus that you're hoping to see from the show?
Yeah, I think it would be great to be promoting that. If we think about the logistics sector, 99% are SMEs, and it's a particularly daunting challenge. But actually, if the messaging is, look, you could be doing some simple steps like, moving to different tyres, or thinking about some simple steps that could be reducing your emissions in a way that isn't overly onerous and actually could be saving you fuel and therefore money. That's a really powerful message to those businesses that are probably thinking battery electric trucks that cost significant amount of money isn't in their future anytime soon.
Yeah. So I know you'll be hosting a number of members and a number of solutions. What are you looking forward to hearing during the show and during on the Decarbonisation Hub?
So I'm really looking forward to hearing from different solution providers. I'm looking forward to seeing vehicles at the show and hearing from the different manufacturers on their plans and what's happening, because there's clearly a lot of exciting things happening in the space. That we know there's new vehicles coming to market all the time. We've had recently the ZHID demonstrator program announcements on infrastructure that is being developed as part of the program. So there's lots of exciting things happening in the space. But as we've just said, I think it's also about the practical solutions for operators that don't involve so much investment, that could still be reducing emissions, particularly for SMEs.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right, and I'm looking forward to that spread of sort of solutions and activity. And I think one of the key points you make there is so much going on in this space. It's an exciting time to be in this space, but keeping on top of it all is a real challenge. So what I'm hoping is that between you and I at the show and at the GreenFleet Decarbonisation Hub, we can help connect people into some of those solutions and share some of that best practice. I know that's a key focus for the trade bodies such as Logistics UK. So yeah, and any parting thoughts from you before we meet up at the show then, Michelle?
I think what you've just said is really powerful, that best practice sharing, solutions, options out there for different businesses is a really powerful message. And that's one of the challenges for our members at the moment. There can be a lot of confusion and uncertainty around where things are heading in terms of technology solutions. So just practical best practice sharing will be really beneficial.
Brilliant. So you heard it here first. Michelle and I are going to be there at the show on the GreenFleet Decarbonisation Hub, making sense of decarbonisation for everybody wherever they are on that journey. Look forward to seeing you there later on in April, and look forward to welcoming as many of your members onto the stand to chat with us and share their best practice. Thank you very much indeed, Michelle.
No worries. Really looking forward to it. Thank you.